Welcome to Reality Recapped, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. This week, we're focusing on Happily Ever After? Question mark. That feels appropriate, especially with this upcoming couple, Liz and Little Ed. If you ever wanted to be happy you're single, this is the couple to watch. Ed's shirt is barely hanging on. Those buttons are about to pop off, and he's probably feeling a little insecure. So Liz tells us when she's speaking with a friend after a dance class that he is wanting her to lose a little weight.
But I put on a couple pounds since we've been back together.
Does he want you to lose weight? Does he say that?
He will look through photos and be like, oh, do you ever think about being back to that size? And it's kind of insulting.
Her friend's expression is all of our feelings, which is just like, how horrible that this little gherkin of a man is saying these things to you. And his size is not the issue, it's his nasty personality.
They didn't give me any fork, so.
Liz tells her friend that she thinks she's the only person Ed has ever dated that doesn't actually need him for finances or anything. So she's a very independent person and she can take care of herself. And this is what her friend says.
Do you think he wants you to need him more? And it makes him feel in control if you need him?
Yeah.
And the more you go away from that, the more like insecure he doesn't have like the hold on you.
Control is a pretty big indicator that a person can become abusive or is abusive. So this is a pretty concerning thing.
Which can come off as controlling.
It's not coming off as controlling. It is controlling. So don't try to twist, oh, he's just insecure and so he's like this. Yeah, that's his problem. Those are his issues that he has to deal with. But instead, he's trying to control you, which is a huge problem.
I don't feel pretty.
That really makes me sad that she doesn't feel beautiful. She is a very beautiful girl, and he has just kind of eroded her self-esteem. If you notice what she looked like when they first met, not that her appearance is what matters, but what matters is the stress that she's been under. She definitely looks like she's having a harder time now.
Never thought I'd feel so insecure about myself the way that I do now.
It's no surprise that you're feeling insecure because you have someone who is systematically chipping away at your self-esteem so that they feel in control and safe because they feel inadequate. Liz introduces Ed to one of her old best friends. They've been best friends for about 14 years. Before they meet, Ed says this in one of his interviews.
I just hope I don't have to body slam him.
Liz's smile goes to this, and I think she's trying to play it off like it's a joke, but I'm sure this bothers her. I wouldn't want someone threatening my best friend either. So Barry asks Ed, you've broken up a lot. What has changed? What makes this time different? And Ed says his usual, well, I didn't date for 30 years, and I had a lot of insecurities, but I was in therapy for 6 months, so now everything is completely different. I mean, we still have problems, but things are a lot better now. I just want to take care of her, he says. I just want to be there for her and I want to love her and I'm going to take really good care of her. And then he goes on to brag.
Like I bought her a new car? Oh, yeah.
His expression is like, oh, that's a tactic to help keep her around. And I guarantee you, Ed did not go out and pay cash for this car. I guarantee you it's on payments. I wonder if it's in Liz's name. And I wonder if this is also used as a tool to control her, because I wouldn't put it past Ed.
Our journey's pretty crazy. Ed's jealousy was a huge issue.
People can get past stuff like this, but 6 months of therapy is not going to do it. So Ed goes to the bathroom, and then Liz starts crying, talking about her relationship. And that's a pretty big indicator, like, you're not happy. You're just kind of trying to pretend like you're happy. And she's talking about how bad she felt when they were split up, and she's just like, I'm just so happy now. And her friend wants the best for her, and I think he's just trying to be supportive. So he's like, well, I'm really happy that you're feeling better, and I'm happy that you're happy. But I'm going to keep my eye on you and keep watch and, and hope for the best. Liz's grandparents have driven in from wherever they live. They drove 16 hours to get there. And Liz says that her grandparents are more like her parents. Her mom had a special needs child, And so she spent all of her energy on that child. Her dad, Liz's dad, was never around. So she was just raised by her grandparents. And so she just feels like they're her parents. Kind of lets you know what was going on with Liz emotionally as a child and why she would be in a situation where she would replicate this feeling of abandonment and like winning love with this big jerk. So Liz meets her grandparents at the pier. They're going to go fishing, and the reunion is very sweet. The grandma grabs her and like gives her a million kisses and seems very happy to see her. And right away, Ed shoves his foot into his mouth by saying this.
So what have you guys been up to?
I know one thing they got
What
up to.
kind of mischief?
Hey, we've been making love. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, dude, you're like in your 50s. How are you making such a colossal errors in judgment? Like, it's shocking. I'm pretty sure her grandparents don't want to think about you guys doing it, much less hear about it from you. Liz's grandmother tells us that she doesn't have a problem with Ed, but that they know that they've had a lot of trouble, and they were surprised to see a ring on Liz's finger. So I'm a little confused. Didn't you guys come in for the engagement party? Or maybe you haven't announced it to them yet? I don't know. I'm confused. Liz's grandmother asks Ed, are you marrying her because you really, 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 really love her? Or is it because she makes you young? And I feel like that was too many reallys. You know, you're not going to get more information because you say a word 100 times. And Ed ends up saying that he loves her so much and he can't live without her. And he just wants to be with her and he wants to make her happy. And it's so funny because the grandfather pipes up when he hears that. And he's like, oh, really? Are you sure about that? Because I've heard that before. That wasn't the case. Liz and her grandparents go out to lunch. And can I just say, I love San Diego. That is like my ideal place to live. I've spent many summers there. It's the place to be. It's just so dang expensive. If you haven't already subscribed, please take the time to subscribe now. It really makes a difference on my end financially. And maybe it could help me go to San Diego sooner than later. So Liz sits down with her grandparents and they're like, why did you send Ed away? And they seem really nervous. And she's like, she says in her interview, you know, he tends to monopolize conversations and I just want to be able to have a conversation with my grandparents. It's like, why are you marrying somebody who monopolizes conversations? That's not good. And her grandmother, so Liz says, you know, we're preparing some surprises for tonight. And her grandmother looks really nervous. And Liz is like, oh, no, we're not getting married, Grandma. We're not getting married tonight. Don't worry about that. That's not what the surprise is. It's other stuff. It's not that. Liz's grandmother says, well, I will stop it. If that's what this is, I will stop it. I am not ready for you guys to get married. I'm not ready for you to get married tomorrow or the next few days, and I'm not ready for you to get married for another 5 years. The grandparents say that they just got back together. They just need time to kind of like build a foundation and get strong again. And the grandmother says that the world was against her and her husband getting married, and they made it. Man, I would love to hear that backstory. Did your audio get leaked too, sir? I hope not. Jesus. Grandma's asking her if she's going to be willing to take care of Ed when he gets old. They are not going to make it that far. Don't even worry about Grandma. Liz starts to get teary-eyed and she's like, I've actually thought about that. Not that I'm going to have to take care of him, but that, you know, I worry about him like leaving me and like being without him. And she starts to get emotional. Yeah, because he freaking breaks up with you every other day. Like, I wonder how many times they've broken up since they've gotten engaged. Are they just not telling us anymore? Because it's got to at least be like 15, 16. And what's going to happen? Let's say that they are being honest and they actually haven't broken up thus far. You know it's coming. Liz is asked, do you and Ed still fight? And she's like, well, you know, Ed has a temper and I have a temper. And sometimes we have arguments that are not healthy. I don't know exactly what she means by that. Is it like leaked audio not healthy? Liz goes on to do something that I think happens a lot, like in abusive relationships. She's taking on the responsibility of their arguments not going left. And so she says this about how to deal with it.
I have to remember that him being single for so long, it's always just been about him. So we'd break up because it was his way or no way.
I don't think that being single is the reason why he's selfish. I think he's just a selfish person. It's just such a twisting of responsibility, isn't it? Ed's not to blame, and Liz needs to learn to be more patient because he's been single for so long. I'm being sarcastic. I don't think any of that. Okay, so the grandparents say, you know, every relationship has problems. Everybody goes through stuff, which is true, but there's gradations of issues. And I think Liz and Ed are very deep in toxic stuff. I think what the grandparents are talking about is different than that. Liz says that she is worried that Ed's going to mess this up, or that he's going to break up with her again, or that he isn't going to actually have all the changes that he said that he has in place. And I actually think this is a very good sign that, one, she's communicating this with her grandparents or somebody else outside of the relationship, and two, that she's even able to admit this. So this kind of gives me hope, actually.
I know if it does happen again, that's it. And I don't want to be a disappointment to Riley.
Riley is Liz's daughter, and she says this is going to be her third marriage, and she doesn't want to disappoint her, and she doesn't want her marriage to end. Man, it's just like, why rush into it then? Like, take your time. You're not in a rush. You need to take your time when you're getting to know somebody. Let him show you who he is now. Liz says that if they get married and then some insecurity pops up and Ed wants to take a break, she's like, if he does that, I will not take him back after that. Grandma says, well, I think you've done a lot of good for him and he's done a lot of good for you. I do not know what 90 Day Show couple she has been watching and mistaking for Ed and Liz. Ooh, maybe she's watching UK The Other Way. That really cute couple. It's the girl, shoot, I don't remember her name, but her husband, her now fiance, is in Mexico. Alejandro and, I don't know. They're the cutest couple. I think she's been watching them instead. Do you guys watch UK The Other Way? If so, and you have a couple that you want me to cover, put it in the comments and I'll think about it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely week.